Okay, so I mentioned before, money doesn't define a film. Avatar The Way of Water is such a boring flick to me, and yet it still made $1 billion at the box office. Yet I absolutely adore movies like Rise of the Guardians and Treasure Planet, and those films bombed exponentially. And man, has the box office ever been so cruel to 2023. As with every year, we've seen a lot of bombs. But what I've liked is that we've not only seen one movie reach the $1 billion milestone with Mario, but we also saw Barbie hit that milestone. But yeah, let's face it, plenty of movies bombed this year, and it's practically a tradition to look at which movies didn't get the customers' money. And today we're taking a look, a kind of follow-up to my box office bombs essay video that only covered up to 2022. So these will be most of the movies that I found out bombed in 2023. Keep in mind, these aren't going to be full reviews, just my thoughts on how each movie bombed. Don't worry, January is but a few weeks away. And hey, subscribe if you haven't already. Trust me, I have my ways of knowing who doesn't subscribe. It's a little thing called anal whitings.
Shiver my timbers!
First up is the Haunted Mansion. You best believe this isn't Disney's last bomb of the year. Yeah, for being the 100-year anniversary of Disney, this was a rough year for them. With that, the Haunted Mansion released back in July of this year with a hilarious budget of $150 million, the film's big domestic gross coming out to be $67 million, while it made $117 million worldwide. The film had a pretty bad domestic opening weekend with $24 million, while competitors like Barbie and Oppenheimer, which weren't even a week earlier, were rising in the market. As I said, Barbie would go on to join the $1 billion club. It also opened next to Talk to Me, a pretty well done horror movie. As for its reasoning for bombing, I guess the best you can say is people weren't interested in it. The Haunted Mansion was already becoming a pretty small attraction. I feel people still go for it, but it's not the top tier attraction it once was. So for a movie based on its lore, or rather creating it, it didn't work out as well as Disney might have hoped.
Shiver my timbers!
Yep, the anime movie that didn't even last 1 week in theaters before DreamWorks pulled it. I've already discussed this movie in the DreamWorks video, so go check that out for more details. But a big problem was advertising. DreamWorks barely put out advertising, only confirming its release about 3 months before it came out. The film had a $70 million budget, a decent budget to make back, but it only made back about $45 million worldwide. That's not even counting the $15 million domestic gross and $5 million domestic opening. That is insane considering its biggest competition was, okay, it's not that hard to believe, but it truly was one of the biggest bombs this year, as it just wasn't up to par with DreamWorks' previous success.
Shiver my timbers!
The Machine was Burt Kreischer's inspired comedy that released in May of this year, and despite only having a $20 million budget, it still only made about $15 million worldwide. I guess there were two reasons as to why this didn't work out, the biggest one being the bad critic scores. A lot of critics panned this messy and lethargic movie. But another reason I theorize is that the movie just wasn't aimed at a big enough demographic. Sure, the Machine story was huge, but the people who even know who Burt Kreischer or even Tom Segura or any of these people are a bit limited, and such. I think overall public interest played into this one too.
Shiver my timbers!
Oh yes, Indiana Jones 5, the long-awaited fifth and final installment in the Indiana Jones franchise. I'll give my thoughts on it when January comes, but to put it lightly, Dial of Destiny, excluding marketing costs, drove a budget of about $295 million. Of that $295 million, it only made about $174 million domestically, with a dismal $60 million domestic opening. Worldwide, it made $383 million. Not bad, but still considering the budget, it just wasn't enough. My biggest thing with this was, yeah, sure, marketing and such, but I also argue the interest in Indiana Jones just kind of died down. The last film, the one I don't really like to acknowledge, came out in 2008. This is 15 years later, and I just think we're tired of old Indy.
Shiver my timbers!
Oh yes, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, the sequel to the Shazam movie, most people liked. Once again, I've discussed this one before, but it isn't a review video, so let's get straight to what didn't work financially for Shazam 2. The film costed about $125 million to make, only making $57 million domestically and about $133 million worldwide. So there's not a big surprise to why this one didn't work out, but without reviewing the film itself, I think it goes back to public interest. The first Shazam movie was great, but we didn't want to see a Shazam 2. And after reviews came, word of mouth created just a lack of anticipation to see the movie. Hell, you'll see soon, DC really messed up this year. Aquaman 2 ain't even out, homie.
Shiver my timbers!
Look, I'm gonna give my thoughts on this movie in the 2023 review, but let's just say people were right. Anyways, Quantumania had a budget of $200 million, and domestically it only made about $214 million. The film grossed about $470 million worldwide, but I guess the biggest thing here was the lack of interest. Many early reviews showed this didn't have the same charm as the other two Ant-Man movies, and such, the film lost audiences, and that's where the money is. Maybe if they didn't spend all the money on Jonathan Majors just for him to get fired. Oh,
shiver my timbers!
Do I have to say it? It's Fast X. Anyways, $340 million budget after inflation, of course, meaning while it did make $704 million at the box office, Universal still lost around $146 million. As for its reason, it's Fast X. People know this franchise sucks. It was still the biggest performing movie in May, though, so hey, they did something right.
Shiver my timbers!
The Flash, it has Ezra Miller in it. Boom, 270 million worldwide. Yeah, it's clear Warner Brothers had a field day finding out how the hell they were going to make this movie work, and for what we got, well, I've already reviewed it in the past, and yeah, most women and children didn't go to see this because, well, if you've seen what Ezra Miller did, trust me, you'd understand. Another big thing was, nope, that's about it. Miller just made this movie tough to market, not to mention, it's not the best movie out there.
Shiver me timbers!
Okay, I went to see this last month, so my thoughts on this one are pretty fresh, but with that, The Marvels was another Marvel bomb that, depending on how you feel about Captain Marvel, people either liked or didn't like. The film had a budget of about $275 million, and only made about $204 million worldwide with an infamous Marvel opening of $46 million. Which, without getting too much into a review, it's not an awful movie, but that's all you're getting. With that, it depends on your thoughts on Captain Marvel in the MCU, or Miss Marvel in the MCU. These characters will make or break your thoughts on this movie. And as for its reason for bombing, it wasn't exactly the best advertised, alongside a lot of people having lack of interest.
Shiver me timbers!
Ah yes, Disney's other disaster. Many have noticed how much hate this movie is getting, and to put it lightly, yeah, it sucks. I just did a video on it, with that which had the interestingly consistent Disney movie issue of poor marketing, alongside the fact that the movie isn't good. I'm tired of talking about it, don't watch it. The film had a budget about $200 million, and has only made about $126 million worldwide. As for reasoning, it's a Disney movie, of course it bombed.
Shiver me timbers!
Okay, last on our list is Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Easily one of the bombs I'm pretty upset bombed. The film had a budget of about $150 million and still made about $208 million worldwide, but to the industry, that's still a bomb. As for its reason, really no telling. I'd argue the film was just released at that time where Mario was getting hype, so people were more focused on that than Honor Among Thieves. Which sucks, as I hear a lot of people who did end up seeing it ended up liking it. But as is, it's tough to see this one bomb. I would have loved to see a franchise. Until next time, please don't see Aquaman 2.